Hello, I'm Philip Kanata, and I'm going to discuss this N8n workflow that loads vectors into an Oracle table. If we start over on the left, there's the initial node that kicks things off, and then the next node, the get file content, that will get a file from a Google Drive and send it to the next node. The next node extracts the text from that file, and then this node actually takes that text and breaks it into chunks or segments so that each segment can have a vector created for it. And then this last node actually it loads the segments into the table, and it also creates the vectors for each segment. Before we get going here, let's make sure, let's make sure that the table's empty. Yes, the table's empty. So we will now load something into the table. So let's kick off the workflow. I'm going to kick it off. You can see it's getting the file from Google Drive and so forth. So let's look at each one of these nodes as it's executing. This one gets a Google Drive doc that's entitled Carnot, the Original Retrieval Augmented Generation System. And then, so it gets that and sends that to the next node. And then the next node gets that in, and then it goes and gets all the text from that Google Doc. And then this node takes that text that came in and breaks it into chunks. You can see here's the first chunk, here's the second chunk, here's the third chunk. Well, how does it know what the chunk should be? Well, down here there's a node that defines that, and it says that the chunk should be 1,000 characters, and each chunk should overlap by 100 characters. So that's what it's done. And then if we come to this node, you see here there's Python code that takes each one of these chunks and inserts something into the database, and then updates, that's the segment that is inserted, and then it updates that row in the table to construct the vector for the segment. So if we go back and look at what was inserted, let me run this query, and now you can see there's 8 segments. Here's the beginning of each one, and here's the vector for each segment.